think it's all the above. Got a lot of guys with experience that have come back and have gotten better. Schematically, I don't know how much that is. I think it's more credit to the kids, taking the coaching, getting better, applying it, and playing with a lot of confidence.
Forgive me if you were asked this before, but just your thoughts on facing Chip Kelly. Obviously, you faced him before a couple times. We are watching him.
Yeah, it's every time you play, it's always a challenge because he does a great job changing numbers, trying to gain leverage and number advantages and advantage throws. And he had those really prolific offenses at Oregon, and it's similar from the standpoint he's trying to get the ball out to his playmakers in space and let them go to work. But he does a really good job in the run game of creating issues, trying to take advantage of your numbers, your leverages, and it's without getting into the weeds of it, it's challenging because you don't know, because they do enough where they can change how they want to attack you, whether it's zone schemes or gap schemes, and or running the quarterback. So you show them as many looks as you can, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a game of adjustments, and then get in the flow of the game and go from there. He has enough offense where he can grab out of multiple bags of how he wants to attack, right? And so at the end of the day, we only have so much time. We give them as many looks as we can, how we think they're going to attack us. And then once you get into the game, you get a flow of the formations, the plays, what the flavor is he is emphasizing, and then you adjust.
But you guys wanted, when you guys got here, you wanted to build a team that could compete against the SEC, right? So you got bigger up front, right? You got more speed on the outside. What's it like now that you're kind of able to see kind of the byproduct of the things that you guys have been building for?
Yeah, it's been an awesome year. It's been awesome because of the mentality that the guys show up week in and week out. Whether we win or lose, they've shown up with the same mentality. Get back to work, get better, and on to the next challenge. And it's been no different this week, and it just happens to be semi-game and Cotton Bowl, but it's been awesome. And it's all credit to the kids.
We don't get to talk to you very much. So, what are you seeing from a guy like Alex January?
Yeah, he's a freshman that's showing bright spots here and there. Still work in progress for sure, but he's got ability, and the little time he's getting out there, he's doing okay. But he's learning as he goes. It's a big difference between being the big dog in high school and then coming to Texas and learning the culture, learning the ways of the standards and physicality and how everybody's big. He's going against. He's not the big guy anymore. And he's been awesome. He's done a great job. He's a work in progress.
I mean, with all the guys who left, is he a guy you need to kind of count on next year, or will you keep?
Yeah, I mean, like all these guys, they gotta keep getting better, and we'll get to that here after the season. But for sure, he's a guy that we expect to be a factor next year.
What about this guy in terms of Anthony Hill? Where's he made the most progress?
Anthony, from being a freshman to a second-year player, just understanding of the defense, practicing, better consistency, the attention to detail that it takes to execute at a high level week in and week out. All those are he's improved immensely. But I think that the biggest thing is just his being comfortable in the system and the terminology and what he's supposed to do. But other than that, guys are warriors. So,
Coach, what were your first impressions of Anthony Hill? What do you think he's meant to this program?
His first impressions was he was always around the ball, nose for the ball. He found the ball. He might not have done it the way we wanted him to, but the end result was what we wanted. So his ability to find the ball is huge. The effort. He's an awesome kid to coach, but he's big, he's fast, he's physical, and he's got a good head on his shoulders.
Is there a specific moment, like in practice or in a game, where you were like, man, this is our guy?
Yeah, the Alabama game. That was. We made some big plays in that game last year, and that was the guy we thought we were recruiting.
The brighter the lights, the better he plays.
Yeah. I think a lot of these guys, they sort of, they've been through it enough now. We got a lot of guys back, and so even like every game, there's going to be some sort of adversity, and I think obviously last week was a testament to that. The guys, we were on our heels for a little bit there in that fourth quarter, and the guys found a way to make the plays that we needed at the right time.
You switched more single high safety looks this year. How did that put more pressure on John A. Barron, and then how did he mentally answer that call?
Yeah, he was. He wanted to make the move out to corner. We were all about it. He's a confident guy that loves challenges, and so he embraced it, right? And obviously has had a great year. I don't know if the scheme had anything to do with it. That's just the way he's wired.
And then Jeremiah Smith, obviously a big challenge. Have you talked to him about Jeremiah Smith? Has he talked to you about it?
We didn't have to talk about it. He knows. Keep the ball in front. We don't want him to get behind us, because that's when he makes big plays. And then when he does catch it, we got to do a great job of getting him on the ground. And if the first guy misses, that's where the pursuit and our effort has got to show up to get him on the ground. So we're lining up and not giving up touchdowns.
Some of the coaches around the country that aren't playing this week and are out on the road recruiting. You all seen some personnel guys out this week. I feel like that's an advantage, a disadvantage to still be playing.
I think being one of the 4 teams still playing, that's an advantage. That we don't get to go out and get face to face with these guys. But I think everybody would rather be playing than out recruiting right now.
Coach, I was able to catch up with a few of your former voices in players. One of the things they said.
Who's that?
Well, so you can guess the question.
Okay.
But they talked about your strength in utilizing guys in the right way, in the right places, kind of having that for it. One guy even said you used him 60% of the time. They loved it, and they wish you well in this game. But is that a skill that you acquired over years of coaching? How do you hone that skill? Knowing these guys?
I think it's more of a skill for guys that maybe aren't as I want to say dynamic, but everybody has weaknesses, right? There's more guys that have weaknesses than that have all the tools, right? And so finding ways to involve the guys and let them play to their strengths is probably, that is more of an acquired knowledge over time. But yeah, I'm curious who that was.
Winston Venable.
That's who I thought. It was. Okay.
They wanted to say keep doing your thing. But they said that was your strength, so I just was curious if that's like a field thing or if it's something you pick up.
You're always trying to get your he's one of our more physical players, but you're always trying to get what your players do, that's what you want them to do, right? And so, every coach is finding, they know who their players are, and so they're trying to get them involved. I guess it's the nuance of trying to find maybe not your top tier guys, like what do they do best so they can be productive within what we're trying to do on the defense. It's a long season, and there's been no drop off week in and week out with how they've approached the next opponent. Right? Win or lose, they came back to work, and I've had great practices, good practices. We haven't had any lulls from that standpoint. So that's what makes it really enjoyable when you're not pulling teeth to get guys to crank it up for practices. That's enjoyable.
Do you have any examples that you may have walked into the building and may have been shocked about the preparation, or like, oh wow, you're here this early? Or?
Yeah, it's really when you're leaving, right? I mean, we don't burn the midnight oil, but we'll be there, 9:30, and there'll still be guys in there watching tape, of their opponent. But most of the guys they're popping in and out throughout the day to get extra video session, extra coaching sessions, and on the game plan, and so all that, whether it's practice or being in the building and finding extra time with our coaches is a big part of it.
People have talked so much about Ohio State's wide receivers, but I mean, this is obviously one of the great secondaries that you've had. What do you think kind of makes this secondary so unique and so successful?
They play well together. They understand what we're Coach Gideon and Coach Joseph have done a great job of getting that understanding the concepts that we're playing with, the coverage concepts. They play with good leverage, discipline eyes. They play hard, and they have confidence.
You guys have given up more passing yards in these two CFP games than you had in the regular season games. Is there anything you attribute that to?
Better teams. I mean, you get here, you're going to play better teams. You're not going to, as much as I would, and our guys we would love to smother every offense every week. It doesn't. It's not going to happen.